they're pretty much done with the kitchens. They're working on the gym at the primary school. That was a video with all the painting, stripping and painting had to be in there, so they started on it today. It's going good. They're doing a really good job, moving through really fast.
So they're putting three coats of paint on this, a primer and two main coats, so it's getting a pretty good seal on it.
It's all being rolled and cut into. It's not being sprayed. So he said it was just too much. Contract said it was just too much to cover up. Try to spray, so they decided to roll it. And it's got a primer coat and two coats of paint on it.
All right. Well, I guess if there's a positive to the fact that we got a lot of air conditioning problems, at least they're at the old, most of them at the old high school, and we're gonna shut the building down anyway, so that'd be a good part out of it.
Thank the Lord.
If I could add one more thing, I spoke with Matt Hightower today, who's with Parrish. They're quite busy, but he said that the fire inspector will be here on Thursday for the second round of inspection. They had to fix a couple of things, and hopefully toward the end of June we'll get the certificate of occupancy, so we can start moving all of our stuff in and getting things situated for July.
You know what time Thursday?
No, sir, I do not know what time.
We did talk at last meeting about a date for an open house, and we decided the week of July the 18th, but we need to nail down a date.
Right. We talked about the 21st or the
21st
27th.
or the 22nd, Thursday or Friday. What's your pleasure?
Friday.
Friday?
I think Friday.
22nd, late as we can.
Yeah, I don't think.
11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we need to set a time for dedication.
July 22nd.
10 o'clock. And then
10
we can have the
o'clock.
open house the rest of the day.
10 o'clock dedication.
Sounds good to me.
All right, July 22nd, open house, 10 o'clock dedication. Okay. All right, that's their reports. All those in favor of the consent agenda items, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right, moving to the transportation request, we have the out-of-state trip. Need to ratify that action. That's a trip to Florida State, was it?
Yeah, Florida State.
Entertain a motion to approve that trip.
Motion.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. College and Career Board of Directors update. Al, you want to say anything?
I'll be quick. We'll go on my notes here on the phone. We had our student and community job fair right at the end of the school. Was on May 9th. That went very well. It was very well attended. We talked to some of our industry partners, and we're going to change some things up next time. We did 2 of those. We did one at the beginning of the year, right before school started. We did one at the end. After communicating with business and industry, there's a few little tweaks we're going to make. We were looking at it as we want bodies in there. We want as many people to come and use it as a learning experience. The business and industry were looking for serious applicants. They were not interested in our efforts to let the seniors practice. They're looking for somebody to hire. So we're going to make sure we accommodate both goals. We're just going to do it in 2 different scenarios where we're not going to we're not gonna have a job fair and, you know, encourage them to come practice. You know, this is, if you have a job fair, you're gonna be looking for a job. So, signing day went great. Thank you for everybody who attended that. It's on, Leila's, we edited the video and posted it, so go back and watch it if you hadn't had a chance to watch it. This is one of the best things that we do, I believe. We had 72 kids participate out of the, 184 seniors. That's not really a lot, but it meant a lot to the ones that showed up. So, Dr. Sims and I talked about it, and he brought up the fact that if it's important to those 72, we're gonna do it. So, that went really well. Graduation was great. Just a little update on our Work Ready. We might have covered this already, but our Work Ready Option B program, we graduated 9 with our Work Ready Option B. And just to give you a little perspective, I believe the state did, when it first started, last year, there was almost 9 in the state. And we did 9, you know, on our inaugural time doing the Work Ready Option B. These are kids that probably would not have graduated. They would have dropped out. And we had to help them out. And we had to do a lot of work to get them graduated, but we did it. And we got 9 of them. And there's, next year we have 14 that Ms. Kelly's already working with. We allowed the teachers to tour the high school, the new high school, and we moved a few things in. We can't occupy the building. I know Ms. Clemens will talk about that until we get the certificate of occupancy, but we put some stuff in the rooms and the offices. Let's see. We're working on ordering the culinary department a food. We call it a food truck, but it's not a truck, it's a trailer. And we're going to have a mobile classroom. Since Ms. Gay is housed at the Wiregrass campus, we're going to have her a mobile classroom that on Fridays she can bring to the high school and we'll serve out of the food truck. Probably won't. It might not be every Friday, but it'll be something that they it'll have them a home at the high school. And I want to extend the invitation, as always, to all of you and Tyler and David to come to our College and Career Academy Board of Directors meeting. The next one is next Tuesday, June 21st. It'll be held in the room right next door, so it's at 11. So make plans to come to that if you can. If anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see if I can find it now. It was something about, I probably can't find it, but we talked about job readiness in a class and those sort of skills, but
Yes,
now
ma'am.
we're not going to do it anymore. We're
Well,
going to integrate it somewhere
Yeah,
else.
I would say the most successful, the work ready classes.
That's it.
What you're talking about. Our most successful attempt at the work ready class was the first time we ever did it, and we handpicked, I think, like 25 kids. We took them out of the class for a week, and we handpicked them basically. Then we said we're going to make it into a class, and then this year was the first time we did the class. Now the class was great; it was amazing, but we required every senior to take it. It was a scheduling nightmare to get all the seniors in there. It's also, students have a plan, and we just threw something extra in their plan, and it's a great idea until your kid has to take it. And we got a lot of backlash on that. It's a great class, so we're thinking about right now incorporating that same concept into the work-based learning students, which we have a ton of those. And we'll catch most of the seniors, or maybe not most of them, but we'll catch a lot of kids. And we're also going to offer it, we're thinking about offering it and doing it as an elective class.
Did you get backlash from parents?
Yes.
Who's surprised?
No, I'm telling you, it's a great idea until your kid has to take it.
Yeah.
And it messed up their time because I wanted, instead of being on work-based learning and leaving at 1, now I got to leave at 2. Until we decide this is what we're going to do, and you've got to take it, and the board says you got to take it, and it's going to count toward graduation. Until we do that, that's what's going to happen. me personally, after being in the game a little bit and seeing it, I don't know if we're ready to do that. I think you do it to the ones who want it. And it's a great class. We've got speakers that are just religious on coming and speaking to that group. And you know, a lot of times with these kids, you can put it in front of them, but they're not going to take it unless they want it. So we're going to take that approach next year.
And a lot of that stuff is intertwined with Ctae as well, the soft skills and all those type of things, resumes and some of the certifications they can't get through that, but a lot of the other soft skills are already intertwined in their program.
And the ones that are doing, to add what Ms. Clemens said, the ones that are planning it, the teachers that are planning it are our Ctae teachers, so they know the situation and they see the value in it. So they're going to put those principles into their class and make sure we're still teaching it. We just don't have a class saying we're teaching it, which we do. We're just going to offer it as an elective. I believe that's what we're going to do. So I'm not abandoning this thing. We're just doing it a different way. Anything else? Thank you.
Okay. All right, technology report, Brandon?
This was a very, I'm going to scoot back so I'll stand up so I can see my since I'm so short. This was a very exciting month for us. As you're all very well aware, we transitioned to Google. We've gotten really good feedback from our teachers and our summer school students that are utilizing Google. There's a lot of excitement because there's a lot of content out there that is created for Google schools. So that opens a whole new door for our teachers. And we're very, very excited about that. We've been hosting Google trainings. We've had 2 so far. We've had a very good turnout for those. We have 2 more coming up in July, and we're beginning to plan our boot camps for the beginning of school so that our teachers and our students are prepared to begin school. We have been supporting summer school initiatives over the summer. We're also preparing all of the new devices that we bought, those 2,111 devices that we got through EFC funds. So we are about a fourth of the way through those, getting those processed, getting those ready for school next year. We're really excited about that. So we have a lot of exciting things going on in our department right now, but we are thrilled to have finally made it through the Google migration. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, mobile hotspots, where are we at on mobile hotspots?
So we've had several integrations with those mobile hotspots. We received the last ones where we've given out a good bit of those. We do have more to give out. And so we are, at the end of school, we gave out as many as we possibly could. We did have some students that had moved out of the district. And so we were unable to award those to those students. But we will, as soon as students begin coming back to school, we will start assessing student needs and making sure that they get those.
Is there any way you get a list of those?
Of the students that have received them? Yes, sir, I can get that to you.
I guess I was under the impression that we were talking about mobile hotspots that would be in localities, not individual homes.
Okay, so we do have some hotspots that are out in the community right now. The state is no longer going to pay for those. Those were funded through the state. That ends at the end of June. But we have individual hotspots that we can put out for students in replacing those devices if we have the need. And we've already given a good bit of those students that are in those areas individual hotspots, but we do intend to go back through. We have a way to pull a report based on those areas for those addresses and make sure that every child in those areas has a hotspot available to them. But if you know of someone that you think might need one and maybe not be on our list, please let me know and I'll be happy to make sure that they get one.
Well, let me just say this. There was something that I heard at the conference about Comcast now, I don't know anything else. Yeah, that they were, had a project that they were financing for anyone who was on free and reduced lunch, which are all of our children, right?
That's right, yes, ma'am.
Every child. So you might want to check into that. I'm sorry I didn't get information for you and bring it back.
I'll be
But it
happy to
was
look into that.
Comcast, I am certain.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
One media call.
No, one media call.
It was cool.
They did have it at a reduced rate for a while.
Yeah,
we had.
shot across the bow.
Thank you, Brandon.
Brandon, can you get with David and Tyler and get them a school email address? I don't know if they need to sign something and all that kind of stuff, but we'll get y'all set up on school email. Mr. Webb, curriculum and instruction.
Good evening. My report's a little short, but we have been short on work the last few weeks. We've been going at it pretty hard. Under the curriculum, we completed our K-12 Ela Curriculum Alignment, and we do have plans this following year to revisit that 3 or 4 times throughout the year to try to update as we're going through the year. I sent that out today to everybody in the system. I want to thank all the teachers who worked on that, my team who helped me put that together, and they all done a fantastic job. I did make an attempt to align the math curriculum as well. My attempt wasn't very successful, to say the least. And so I've developed a new plan to work on that, starting pre-planning of next year. I've talked with my team and Ms. Dawn Clements about my plan, and we're going to try to get that aligned and get ourselves prepared for the new curriculum that's going to roll out the following year. And we've already had in-depth discussions with the middle school and high school with making sure that what we have in place next year is going to roll into the following year. And there were some changes in how, especially middle school math is done. The state wants 6th and 7th graders just to focus on that grade level. So they'll no longer have courses that include 6, half of 7, and then half of 7 and all of 8, and then they go into the course. They have a new course designed for 8th grade acceleration that will be involved in the new curriculum. But the state felt like we were stretching ourselves too thin. Well, we were already stretched thin with just the standards in 6th and 7th grade. And so by adding another half a year, that's a lot as a student.
So a lot was learned from going through it, your first attempt, that you can carry over.
Yes, ma'am. And we have some significant hurdles to get over, but I have no doubt that we'll get everything streamlined. ELA is streamlined; those teachers are ready to go. They had a lot of discussions. I want to be able to get our math teachers to that point, to where we're having real conversations about what students actually need to be successful from one grade to the next. And we just got to get that streamlined where we're working on the right things.
So we still will we still do pre-algebra in 8th grade?
They have, I think that the course, if I'm not mistaken, I've read through the standards, a lot of the pre-algebra concepts are in that course. We're changing how social studies and science are taught in elementary school. We've had, and that was actually, part of that is in our new strategic plan as far as strengthening social studies and science. So we're moving social studies into the ELA department, and that's to be taught specifically through writing and assessed through writing. So we're working in that direction, and science is going to be taught by the mathematics department. And we're already working with them. We're not expecting them to come out of the gates doing this project-based learning, but we hope by the end of this next year that a lot of the course is designed around the students actually investigating and completing projects, and their assessment on mastering the standards will be based on the projects they produce. Algebra 1 at the high school, big change. Working with Dr. Sims and his team, we're going to stretch that course, make that course a year long. And I'm working with the Algebra 1 teachers, Christopher Alexander, Ms. Jacobs, week after next for 3 days to start creating the course. And what we're going to do is we're going to embed all the prerequisite skills into the course along with the Algebra 1 content and try to give these students a deeper foundation and hope to get them to where they won't have to struggle all the way through high school to get their math courses completed.
So that's a good thing, stretching algebra for the whole year.
But it's not just stretching the course out for the whole year, it's adding all the prerequisite skills into the course. In other words, we want them to be able to use and distribute it properly. We want them to understand order operations. We want them to be able to work with sign numbers. We want them to be able to have a little bit more numeracy where they understand that numbers actually represent things and places on the number line, which I struggled with when I was teaching. Some of those things seem very, very, very simple sometimes, but they're really abstract, and so it is difficult for some students to grasp. And so we just want to give them a little bit more base as we're going through that course, not just teaching the same standards over the year.
Now, Mr. Webb, will the honors algebra 1 still be one semester, or will it be
Yes.
the, okay.
I'm working on aggregating the data for the 2021 school year. Already looking at interventions such as the year-long Algebra 1 course to help shore that up. We'll have an overview of the data hopefully by the next board meeting, unless some data may still be embargoed. By that time, some like the milestones aggregate data, they won't release any of that until they've aggregated the entire state's data, and they have averages for everything for the state. And that's when they'll release all the student reports and all the reports to us. The instruction, a team of your leaders, they were 8 of us that went to Civic Visa, the administrative conference at St. Simon's Island, and listen to other schools, talk to other school systems, and realize that a lot of the challenges are really everywhere. The team members that attended, Ms. Dawn Clements, James Sermons, myself, Michael Heitzman, Chris Jones, Roger Merritt, Jaquita Brown, and Amy Sellers. Most of us are in the room. Many of the districts are facing the same issues. They're finding and retaining quality teachers, meeting the social and emotional academic needs of their students, and recovering from the effects of school shutdowns and virtual instruction. And I had several conversations along those lines where we're trying to pull back from overuse of technology. We want the computers to assist us, but we don't want to replace the teaching. It just doesn't generate the results. We also heard from systems that are working diligently to build community culture that supports education. And the goals of the system, we've already began discussions along those lines about really needing a culture for our school system that we're all aware of, buy into. So there's going to be a lot of discussions over the next year about what that's going to look like and what's important to us and what we want to focus on as a district. During this conference, I presented an in-depth look at providing remediation, enrichment, and acceleration through the PSC process and Ctae. That presentation was well received. I've had several requests for more information. I've had requests for my presentation itself from several schools. So I'm looking forward to working a little closely with other districts and maybe find out some things that they have in place that can help us. As we look to the next school year, the big thing I want to work on, and all my principals definitely want me to continue working on this, and that's implementing instructional strategies that encourage student engagement, because everywhere, every person I'm talking to is in education now is working toward getting their students more engaged in the instructional process.
Thank you, Mr. Webb.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Webb.
All right, next we have a school nurses report, our dental report, activities that's been going on. Is this the Rural Smiles? Is that the right name?
Forget.
Or is it something else? I don't want to call it wrong, but I want to give them credit.
They call it the Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
No.
It's a great service though that we have for our students. And you can see we had 387 unique patients this year. And they did over 573 x-rays, sealants, prophylactics, fluoride, exams. I mean, you know, our school nurses, they do a lot for our students. And one of the things they do is they coordinate this and get them here for our students. And we can't say enough about our school nurses and all the great things that they do for us. They have helped us through COVID, and they give our students medicine every day and look after their needs. And, you know, we do a lot for them health-wise, and I think that we don't know how vital they are to our school system.
I was going to say this was done in just 21 visits, but 21 visits is also a lot.
Right. It is.
21 visits in the
You
school.
did, but they
Yeah.
did it.
And you have 14 between K-5, so, you know, our K-5 students who might not get to go to the dentist, a lot of them, that's, what is that, 257 students got to be seen at those two schools, so that's a good bit.
So y'all just schedule it around their school day?
Yes, ma'am. The dental
So
bus
they don't
comes.
miss anything?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a good deal.
I don't know if the community is even aware
Right.
that we do that service for our children.
We've been doing it a long time, since
Yeah,
I was
yeah, we have.
at the middle school, they've been doing it. It's a great service. We appreciate it very much.
All right, moving into new business, we have our summary of purchase orders over $10,000. That's for your information. You can see the breakdown, the total, $444,000 for various things there, and you can see the funding sources on page 2. Most of that was the CARES fund and grants.
Is that still adding up to be that $3 million bucket that we were pulling from?
That's a whole different ballgame. That's the
That was a-
technology.
Okay,
This is just instructional purchases over $10,000.
okay.
Over 10,000 that we've been doing for the last few months. And this equipment is for audio-visual technology, one of our pathways out of the high school.
Okay. Next, we have the MOU for 2022-2023 for Ctae. And this has been updated for the current year. Is this the updated one?
Currently, that MOU is going to be sent back to Wiregrass because Tony had some things that she wanted them to look at, and it's
Okay.
language, yes, sir.
Or is
So,
it similar to this?
Yes.
so that just based off a contract price or a monthly price?
Say that again.
Is it just based off of a contract price or a monthly price?
Contract price. And this is a partnership that we have with Wiregrass, where I think Dr. Stokes and somebody else was doing some of this work before, but Dr. Harrelson approached them about having this as part of our partnership with dual enrollment in CTAE.
Which has really benefited us because before we were always fighting over those FTEs with them for all our age 16 kids and above.
Yes, ma'am.
And so now we're working together, so it's fantastic.
And all the CTAE business that we do with Perkins Grant and all the funding that comes from the state, and even these equipment grants this year, Miss Henderson's done a good job of getting us that equipment and making sure she's met the deadlines and getting our dual enrollment students working in Infinite Campus to make sure that when students take these courses that we know that they've been in there and they're not getting double dipped with other courses. Some students in the past have taken the same thing twice and have been given credit for the same thing twice, and so we have implemented some things in Infinite Campus, and she has worked with Dr. Stone to make sure that they're not doing that anymore. So it's checking off on their transcript a lot better, so counselors and teachers can see that.
So, Mr. Chairman, do we need to table this until we see the,
Well, I was gonna ask, did the amounts change or just language?
Language.
Language?
You know, I don't know anything about the amounts, but language has changed a little bit.
But
Of
we're-
course.
Was the language technical or just,
It
Something
was
need to be
not-
done.
It didn't make a substantial change to the terms of the agreement.
okay.
So,
You want to approve it with the understanding that
that the changes are being made?
they are made. We
Okay.
just got to get it
Changes
re-signed.
have been made, but my understanding is, of course, is that the document has to be sent back to Wiregrass because I just made the amendments today because I
We
got the
didn't have-
document last night.
We didn't have time to
Gotcha.
get it, but the amounts are the same. So I would entertain a motion that we approve it, understanding there's some language changes and pending those changes being accepted. But the amounts are the same.
I made that motion.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Our motion second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained?
Abstain.
Okay. Motion will carry, one abstention. All right. Entertain a motion to approve the final budget adoption for fiscal year 2023. Okay, we got no budget next year.
I make a motion, we approve the budget.
Second.
Our motion second, discussion. Anything you wanna?
I've got something I'm gonna read. It says, why can't we get a line item detailed budget each year to look over before voting on a $30 million plus dollar budget? Something I know I've asked for a year ago in the same seat and said that this year it would be added just so we could look over if we wanted to. I know prior to that it had been asked by a board member to look at a line item budget before we vote over this. So I just gonna make my plea again to see a line item budget. I mean, we're gonna vote on this huge budget. It'd be nice to at least give it to us and we can have a preview to look at if we want to or not.
Okay.
Can I address the changes?
Sure.
You want to speak to?
Yeah, but, I mean, this is a 3-month process. We've had 2 budget hearings.
I understand that,
Already,
but we
but-
talked about
yeah,
this last year,
yeah.
same thing, and sat right here and said, sure, we can add that to the
And we can,
Agenda.
should, okay. Okay,
And our state allotment for, state sources, we actually got the allotment sheet and it was about $400,000 more than our second meeting. So it was $23,526,613. And, so we made some adjustments to the budget. One of the things we looked at were, when we went over the scales at the call meeting, we had to, change some of the classified scales, nurses, bus drivers, and food nutrition, so those areas went up a bit. And we also added another $100,000 for student transportation for fuel, because of the gas prices right now are just exorbitant. And then for maintenance and operations, we have a proposal for you tonight. We did an RFP for cleaning services, and that quote for that was substantial amount, so we made an adjustment in maintenance and operations for that adjustment, in about a few $100,000. So
And after we approve this budget, how many more changes gonna happen?
there won't be any more changes. The thing is when you make this budget, you're at the mercy of the state to get
But that's
these
what, I mean,
allocations.
I'm saying, there
Right.
will be other changes
Oh.
that we won't be able to appeal. I mean, a
Right.
budget is just what it is, a
Right,
budget.
it's just
Just a
a,
budget.
it's just a look at what we have right now compared to where we were last year. If you want, I can go through the whole process. We took up until March, we took every expense that we had. We multiplied that out by 1.5, so we would have an estimate of what we would spend for the rest of the year. We went in and looked at that and we compared it to what we budgeted and what we actually spent. And in some of these line items that went down, for example, in improvement of instruction, it went down a good bit, but we were under budget in school administration and general administration by about $400,000, so we upped those amounts. We actually cut several things, but right now our economy is in turmoil. We're facing, inflation. Gas prices are up 50%. Food is up over 12%. Right now we're in an uncertain time. So we took this money, we allocated it the best way we saw fit. nobody asked for a line item budget, so then I just went with what we were doing, because that's kind of what we've done. But if you want a line item budget, I'll shoot it to you tomorrow.
And I just go back to last year, we sat together and said it would be given, and that's all I was bringing up.
I did.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. So, but it's, you know, a $31 million budget, we still have a $300,000 surplus. So if we do have some things that, you know, go less or more, or whatever you want to say, we can use that surplus. But, you know, our CARES money is being spent down. So I think that right now, these are uncertain times, and we're troubleshooting and doing and looking. We looked at this budget for 3 months. You know, we didn't just say, oh yeah, let's just put this out there. Well, we looked at all the expenses, all the teacher salaries, you know, even the other stuff that we put in, like the employment benefits package.
Yeah.
We looked at that. We looked at more. Did we need to do more or less with that? So, you know, we're trying to keep our employees. We're trying to pay our teachers, because when you go out here to these other systems, they're paying people at different rates than we are. And, you know, they have local supplements. We don't have a local supplement. So we're trying to keep teachers. We're trying to retain teachers. We're trying to get the best teachers that we can into our school system. But sometimes, you know, it's not easy to project what's going to happen. But we just, you know, we're doing the best we can, and we want everybody to understand that we don't take these things lightly. We do the best that we can as a finance department, as a leadership team, and we want you to understand that we have the taxpayers in mind when we're looking at this budget. We know that every dollar that we get comes from taxpayers, and we're trying to, you know, have the best situation we can for our students as well. So.
I know we do 1 hour budget training in February?
March, I think is what it was this year.
Where would be the appropriate time in the process where you'd have enough items in the line item for something to be presented? April, May?
Probably in the May meeting would be the best time, because, you know, we didn't get the allotment sheet till the middle of May. So we didn't actually know what the state source was going to be. But you can always have a line item budget. It's just you might have to change it. Yeah, you just have to change it, whatever the allotment is. And fortunately, we've been very blessed to continue to get this amount in our funding. But yes, next year, please remind me, because, you know, year to year, I don't think about last year right now. But you can come sit down with me. I'll show you exactly how we do it. And we did go to a different way of budgeting this year. Before, we've used some different programs, but this year we actually took, in PC Genesis, they have a budgeting tool for salaries. And we took and put all that stuff into PC Genesis, and we did it one time, and we can push the button and it tells us exactly how much the salaries are going to be. So it's helped us, you know, forecast what our salaries will be for this year. And TRS went up. Also, I don't think I mentioned that in here, but our TRS allotment went up to 19.98% for the employer side. So it's, you know, we've had some little adjustments that we've just found out about as well. But I appreciate your patience. You know, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. I'll answer anything I can.
And personally, taking Jeremy's comments, I did say that, and I said that could be available to us, but just wasn't presented on our side. But anyway, it can be done. All right. Any other discussion? Again, this is following our public hearings that we've had, and so I'll entertain a motion that we adopt the budget for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion
Who
second.
made the motion? You did?
Kenneth made the motion.
Kenny made
I asked for the motion. Kenneth, you made the motion.
second.
You second? All right. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right, entertain a motion to approve the handbook for primary, elementary, middle, and high school for 2023.
Oh, yeah. Can you roll back to the top for just a moment, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right there. That magnificent picture. District, we got the wrong district from Mr. Warren. Did you see that? Check that. Just something, I know you can fix that on the, online, and so it'll be fixed.
You're not co-district. Y'all don't work together?
Supposed to be.
No,
You want to,
I thought y'all
you
was
want to
up.
split with him?
no, one is mine.
I thought y'all was sharing a district or something, man. Y'all don't share?
Oh, I don't care.
I thought y'all shared.
We'll get that fixed. I need a motion, please, to approve.
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Our motion second, discussion. We'll make a correction on Wands to District 7.
What if there are other corrections like spelling or something, technical stuff
And
like
spacing.
that?
We can fix all that.
If you'll present those,
If y'all type them to me, then I'll have.
we'll get
the
those
PDF
changed.
pulled up.
Okay, okay, I saw,
Okay.
not bad.
All right, if you see anything, just send that to Debbie and we'll get that updated. All right, all those in favor of the handbook, signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries.
Are they gonna be just electronic, or are they gonna be printed?
They're gonna be.
Will they be printed?
Yes, ma'am,
Will they
and
be
electronic.
signed?
Yes, sir.
And it'll be on the website.
Yes, sir.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the milk bid for Board and Dairy 2023, $100,487.18.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
Yeah, look at these bids. I mean, these are
Don't have a choice.
the only ones we got bids from.
Yes, sir. You're not, there was,
Solicited.
yes, this is a problem, in our state right now, is getting dairies to even give you a milk bid because of their supply chain issues. It's crazy.
So how does bid go out? Help me understand, when you,
I don't handle food nutrition, Miss Martha does.
okay.
So I'll ask her and get back to you because I have no idea how they put this bid out.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna tell you something I don't know, so I'll let you know tomorrow.
So just, just plain milk,
I think that's the low fat.
that's a low fat?
That's the low fat, that's it. That happened
Yeah, you
during
can't-
that Obama.
You can't serve
You can't
just
serve whole milk.
whole milk,
Oh, really?
Trying to keep those kids healthy.
healthy shape.
It's interesting to me.
We had a half pint chocolate.
A lot of it too.
That's whole milk. ain't it? That's from whole milk, right?
It's not.
Board and Dairy Queen does a lot of business at the school. man.
It ain't full loaded.
And what's the buttermilk for?
Not much.
They must, when they make breakfast, they make biscuits and things like that.
Biscuits. Okay, any other questions? All right, all those in favor of the milk bids, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the bread bid to Flowers Baking for 2023. That's $13,469.60 for the year.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion?
Same issue.
I'll check on that.
Well, it's just that we don't have any choice, so I don't know how long it ran or whatever, but.
You usually have to put it on the state procurement website.
Yes.
And I imagine that's how it was done.
Yeah. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. We have verification of our governor's annual training report. Entertain a motion that we approve that for submission.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained?
She has the original for y'all to sign.
Oh,
Motion's approved, and we'll need to sign that before we leave tonight. All right, entertain a motion, we approve the local board training plan for 2023. And
We
that, of
don't need
course,
to make changes.
that, of course,
for
will
the
be
new board
amended
members?
at some point in time, but
Okay,
it's what we have right now.
All right, motion to approve.
second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries, we'll send that in. Entertain a motion to approve the CTAE budget for fiscal year 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? And that's the whole gamut, the whole program,
Come back.
That's Miss Henderson.
all the programs, right?
Yes, yes, all the programs.
You're gonna put them all together.
All right. Are all those in favor of the CTAE budget signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve our GSBA Assembly software subscription renewal for 2023. It's $12,640. That's where we'll get our electronic agendas, minutes.
Motion.
Okay,
And
motion.
second.
Is there a second? Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right, next we have a request to use some of our donated funds. This was the $1 million gift to us to use our donated funds for some branding items at the new high school. You can see it totals $94,351. I'll make a motion that we approve that, subject to us also continuing with our efforts to trademark and brand our logos, our mottos, that we register our trademarks, and that we commence that action with our attorney.
Could you remind us about the $1 million gift?
It was a gift from an anonymous source.
But they didn't
Years
specify
ago.
what they wanted us to do with it, right?
No,
Just want to make sure.
I occasionally give them a report on how it's being spent.
I just know that money's been donated to us before, and then the donor might sometimes change their mind based on what we spend it on, so.
Yeah,
so
this one
long
has
as-
not.
Okay.
This had no strings to it.
Okay, no strings. That's the way I do it. Okay, you need a motion?
I made the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries.
And now, just to be sure everybody understands, this branding was not included in our construction at all.
That's correct.
It's on top of that.
Well, I did have one comment. Let's make sure that we have double checked the screen prints to make sure our logo is what we want it to be. All that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I looked at the pictures, all of them look good, but
Yep, just one of them. Hang on. On some of the doors where you have to outline the outer part, and you have to split the two
Yeah, where
colors.
they had to line it up.
The left side, sometimes it's got that rounded.
Okay, I'll see.
should be a point.
Yeah.
That stuff hasn't been ordered yet, has it?
But when you split it, and you have gold on one side and purple on the other, you have to outline it, that one side.
It's got the-
looks rounded.
Okay.
Because it kind of outlines it twice.
We didn't have a purchase order approved.
All right.
Right.
So it's time for renewal of our cleaning bids, and we had some, one vendor there. I'll entertain a motion that we approve the bid to Cinderella, $787,748.16.
Mr. Chairman, before we vote, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Let's say we,
All right, is there a second?
Do we want to get them?
You want to get discussion? Is there a motion and a second?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Motion, Shirley,
Yeah. Sure.
second, Juan. Okay, now discussion.
If we make a decision in the next couple of months, 3 months, whatever, or the new board members make a decision early next year to go ahead and get rid of most of these schools right here, is that number gonna come down?
Yes.
I mean, do we know that on the contract that they'll, is it divided by school?
It
Divided
is.
by building?
Yes, it's right here.
And so,
It's divided out by, like, for the for the old high school, we're still keeping this up.
so it will be prorated?
Yes, it'll,
Okay.
yeah. And this is a 1-year contract, even though it says valid for 3 years. It's a 1-year proposal that we can ask for. You know, if we decide to just keep the cheer gym, the science wing and all that, then we can if you decide to tear it down or give it to somebody else, it'll become their responsibility.
And they'll prorate that amount?
Yes.
Okay.
How about the JROTC building? Are we gonna really need to be using that much once I just saw that and wanted to ask.
Honestly, that building is hard to get insurance on because it's so.
Right, so it may be,
Yes.
I got you. And then that,
It's so dilapidated and old.
so if anything like that, like Juan's saying though, if anything goes away, we'll get some pro rate on that. Okay.
So I guess my question then has to do with the new high school.
Yes, ma'am.
So how much more, I know we have a lot more square footage, but is there a big difference between what it costs us to clean this school?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Because of the windows and it's I think it's around 180-something thousand square feet. And there's just so much to cleaning that. They went out and looked at all that and prepared that bid with looking at all that. And also buying the equipment to have to clean the floors with and all those things. It's just substantial.
So is this the first year of the 3-year contract?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's what I need.
So with buying the equipment this initial year, then this price should be somewhat lower?
No, sir, this is the contract price for 3 years.
So they buy the equipment every year?
No, but they have chemicals and wages and all those things that we have, that are just so expensive right now. Mr. Newell, you want to speak to any of this? He did the RFP.
We talked several times. I showed, we went out there and looked, I don't know, probably this dead end, Jessica and Larry there. We went and looked and they just kept hashing numbers and that, that place is just really big. And, all you gotta do is go to the store and the prices of everything is skyrocketing.
Well, principals, we're still very happy with Cinderella's. We don't have a issue, right? All right, that's what I thought.
You want to say anything about that?
And they certainly had a lot to do once we went through the COVID. Oh, my Lord. They
And
kept us-
also, we had a second bid that came in 2 or 3 days late.
Oh.
It was for $1.1 million. So, this is a slight difference between that, about $400,000. We did not look at that bid because it didn't come in on time. And it was not a local bid, it was somebody out of Columbus, but it was for $1.1 million, and I about dropped my teeth out. I was like, holy Toledo. So, it's
One other question. Will we have to increase the number of in-house janitors that we have during the day?
this projects 4 full-time and 2 part-time. Now, I wasn't privy to what wasn't done in the past, but I'm pretty sure every school had one, and we had some half-timers as well. And they do a great job for us, and we appreciate their business and the things that they do to help us extra at extracurriculars and things of that nature.
Any other questions? All in favor of contract, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right, entertain a motion to approve a trip to San Diego to FCCLA Nationals.
Motion.
That's the June 29th through July the 6th. Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve out-of-state trip to TSA Nationals in Dallas, Texas, also 6/26 through June the 30th.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion?
What's our liability with that one? We don't have any, as far as they're raising the money and did everything on their own. They representing our school, and of course, the state has to know that they're going. I was just wondering if we're insuring them and everything.
I'll have to check on that. We have insurance for, in place, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sounds really exciting.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve a purchase order to Howard Technology Solutions. This is for administrative offices. We paid out of ELOS funds, $19,770.
Motion to approve.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Have another one for Howard Technology Solutions, $16,611.40 out of ELOS, and that's for student content filtering and cyber security or cyber safety. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Report on GSA's summer conference, and before you say anything, y'all sure did hit a lot of pictures. Y'all seen the online pictures? They were all good, let me say, didn't y'all?
Those two see a
Y'all ran a lot
camera,
of
they
them.
run to it.
You see 'em? Yeah.
Remember what happens in Savannah stays in Savannah.
I said they were good pictures. Yeah. I agree with you otherwise, but anyway.
Well, Mr. Chairman, in all seriousness, I will do a very quick report. I won't take much time.
It was a good conference.
There were a few things that got highlighted from the Gold Dome in the 40 days that our legislators spent up there. Just want to bring it to your attention. Of course, due to the teacher shortage, there was a rule that was put in place for retiring teachers with over 30 years of service will be able to come back to the classroom full time. I think that was a very good one. 30 years is what we worried about. Some people retired at 25 or less than 30, and we're just concerned that we won't be able to use them. However, the district is responsible for the insurance costs for both the TRS, our part and their part. 49% is still part-time, so we can increase those people to 100% if needed to. And this rule is only in effect for 4 years. Also, the only other caveat is in highly needed academic areas. So, and I think they said RISA would make that determination, what those areas are.
Ours are SPED,
SPED.
ELA, and math. Yeah.
Okay, math, SPED, and
Special ed and ELA.
Also, I don't know how many of you folks know that we have a Georgia Pledge of Allegiance, but we do, and so they added a word to it. I pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag and the principles for which it stands: wisdom, justice, moderation, and now courage. So they spent 40 days on it. Expand, this was a good one. They expand parents' rights. Now, I think that's a good law, but I don't know why it had to be made into a law since We already want to encourage our parents to be as involved in school as they possibly can. It could turn out to be an administrative nightmare, but at this point, we want to report to you that parents certainly can request records or anything else from our school district, and we're gonna get it for you.
We have that policy.
Yeah, we gotta have a policy, yes ma'am.
Policies,
October
yes.
1st.
They also streamlined the process to become a charter school, so that's a good thing, I guess. They expanded the tax break on gasoline to mid-July. So that 30 cent a gallon will certainly affect our budget a lot, and so that may be helpful to us. Can we buy it in advance? Go ahead and put some tanks on.
We can make sure the tanks are full.
Also, a Civic Renewal Act. They want to put civic education so that our students can learn about government. They're gonna put that back into place. That's not gonna expire until December 2028. They also made a rule that 4A students, if they are absent on a school-sponsored event, we cannot count them absent. I didn't realize we were doing that, but agricultural education, I know.
Some do, some don't.
Agricultural education for elementary grades, that's gonna be fantastic. I'm sure Harry's gonna like helping us learn how to get little children to plant things and feed chickens. Luckily, vouchers did not pass. Tax credits for scholarships and accountability, that stuff did not pass. We don't believe that public education and taxpayer money should go to private schools. The Board of Education must make a policy for K-8 to have a break so that they don't have to go to school all day. I think we call it recess.
Recess.
Do we not have recess?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
We do. Okay, so we're in good shape.
6, 8, I don't know about recess.
Okay, K-8. And I think we have to have a policy for that too, Tony. Unless it's bad weather, they got PE, or there's just no time left in the day.
We have to make arrangements for that.
No agency in school, including the school system, can require vaccination as a condition of providing services and supports. And, Georgia High School Association got an oversight board that's going to determine classifications, including transgender issues that's worrying people a lot. And then Open Meetings Act, this is a good one. The Open Meetings Act and Rule of Conduct for Citizens, you gotta do a policy for that. We gotta post it on our website that disruptions of meeting and how and what you can do to be removed from a meeting during public participation. Of course, this was an election year, so needless to say, we had remarks and speeches from all the candidates. Governor Brian Kemp graced us with his appearance, and so did his opponent, Stacey Adams. Our state school board superintendent, Richard Woods, Fitzgerald High School alumni, he was there, and so was his opponent, Alicia Searcy. We reviewed standards for effective governing on school systems. You guys would love that. Talking about ethics and professional courtesy at board meetings and how important it is to work with our superintendent and try to avoid all that political turmoil. Local acts. I learned a lot about local acts. I would like to have a copy. Gary said he's got some of what our local acts that have been passed over the years, because sometimes they've been there a long time and people don't remember what they are, but they control everything, including board compensation. Last day, we had a surprise. Brian Jordan, some of you may know the name, a former professional baseball player and pro football player. He was the guest speaker, and he is promoting his books, his children's books that he hopes will assist with literacy for students by focusing on their athletic interests as a subject matter, hoping it'll bring them to the books to read them. And so I think Miss Davis bought some books for our children here, and I bought some books for the MEP. And so we're excited about that. He was a very good speaker, and the conference went very well.
Anybody else?
Well, I will report that I attended the delegate assembly, and all of the points passed, but there was an open discussion that kind of, it was a big discussion because we finally had to call the question, but the point was, some people feel that it's important to have three options for a high school diploma, and the options were college prep, Ctae, and special education. And some people felt that your diploma should determine one of these options, which it didn't pass because the majority were saying, no, we don't think that's important because it could hurt a special education person. So the ones who, well, I think the majority were against
Yeah,
it.
the majority
The
was
couple of
against
people
it.
that felt that it was a good option, I couldn't figure out why they felt that way.
Well, it's worth a discussion, so how do y'all feel about 3 diplomas?
Yeah, I
We
mean,
we used to do that.
Used to
a
do
long
that,
time ago.
yeah. I think when, the push was everybody's going to college, they made one diploma. And they got rid of the CTAE, or we called, I think it was the CTA diploma when I was in school.
An endorsement.
An endorsement.
Okay.
But right, you can get different things put on your diploma now.
Yeah.
But a special education diploma is one where it's a specialized diploma for people who really can't do the academic part.
Right.
And then there's the college diploma. I don't think you're going to win either way.
Right.
A high school diploma right now is a high school diploma.
Exactly.
And there's so many people in dual enrollment and through through the technical part and through the academic part, it's hard to say what is a diploma. It's something that says you completed that high school education, and that's really what most people care about is did you finish
Right. Yeah, that's the
Whatever
main
the high
question.
school was requiring you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, not that it's the same for
Right.
everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let me report publicly that there were some obvious discussions about school safety. And let me report to you from this board that school safety is a concern of ours. It is not a recent concern. We have been concerned about school safety forever. We have been in the process over the last 10 years of doing some things to our existing buildings to increase our safety and security. We have had some recent meetings where we had discussions about school safety and have identified some improvements we need to make, and we will make those improvements, mainly in the realm of audio-visual. Most of our schools, we have upgraded all of that. We've got one that needs some upgrading, we will take care of that. Some other things we have talked about is as good as our safety plan is, it's only as good as the people that implement it. And we will be having some training on that as we begin a new school year. We have built a state-of-the-art high school that has a lot of safety features, but again, it's also our awareness that you cannot stop evil. You can do the best you can with what you've got and take all precautions that you can. But things can happen. We've got a good safety plan. Safety plan is one of those things that we will talk about in closed session, because the elements of that safety plan are not things that you want everybody to know, because they know what your precautions are and what you may be looking for and what you have in place. So understand that we do have a safety plan, and we look at it, we do review it, and we will train on it. But that is our concern.
Will our SROs go to that training that they talked about? Yes.
That's the next thing. We've got we do have a Department of Homeland Security conference coming up. I think it's next week.
Yes.
We already signed up for it, sir.
It's next week, and it's in Columbus. Ashley is going to that, and we have 2 SROs also attending that, where they'll be getting stuff from state level and interacting with each other about best practices and those kind of things. Yes, ma'am.
Which 2 SROs are going?
That's a secret. I don't know. I can't tell you that. We don't want you to know. No, I don't know. Which one is it?
We're on vacation.
Who-
Okay, you're on vacation, okay.
Who's going?
And Tavia Smith and Officer Parker from the middle school.
And Mr. Sherman's is going.
And Mr. Sherman's is going.
He's the one that's going.
Okay.
Mr.
Actually, not going?
No, he's not going. He's got,
Okay, somebody told me you were going anyway, that's all right. But just rest assured, we're totally concerned about that, but anyway. All right, anything else?
I have a question.
Okay.
When will the training be for us? You said, didn't you say we were gonna attend a training?
We're training with our teachers and our new staff and going over some things.
Oh, but you didn't mean the board. I
I
thought you
didn't
meant
say, I didn't
the
say the board. No, we can do that, and we got some other things coming up, some dates that we'll be looking at for some things, and that'll be a good thing to add to that, especially since they will be back from the Homeland Security Conference.
Okay.
Dawn has put together a safety team.
yes, we met last week. We're trying to streamline our processes throughout our schools to make sure that everybody understands the expectation of school safety, to understand, what type of things that are in place that maybe we've forgotten, because sometimes we get comfortable and we don't, think about, well, could that person come in our building? Well, sure, could they come on our playground? Sure, we got to know what to do when those instances occur, so we'll be practicing that as well. And this team is made up of people in the schools, and they have brought some good things to the table. And we are going to meet again in July when they come back from summer break. And hopefully we will have a 1 to 3 page sheet about what everybody's expectation is, checking doors, all the things that we need to do to make sure that our students are contained. And even working with our students to make sure that they understand that if somebody's knocking on the door and, they say, come here and let me in, they got to understand what to do as well. So it's not just the teachers and the staff, it's also our students, and making sure they're aware of the things that, could happen, because they're our most precious commodity. And we want to make sure that they understand what can happen as well and be prepared for that, to seek an adult and get help for those things.
So how will we be notified as a board what our safety plans are?
We can
We'll
talk about it
it
in closed session.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
but when are we gonna do it? I think we need to know as soon as possible.
Y'all can do that in July meeting?
We can do it in the July meeting. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. Have your upcoming events, be aware of those. Some disclosure reports are due. We've got a meeting July the 12th. And our new recognition program is due by July the 29th for exemplary board activities. Be looking at, thinking about that. Also, we've added July 22nd, 10 a.m. for the dedication at the school. Dawn and I talked this afternoon about the need for a retreat. Traditionally we've had one in the spring. Last couple of years we were more or less unable to do that. With a lot of the things going on, probably a fall retreat. Be thinking one of the day, we don't have a date yet, we didn't decide that, but maybe sometime in August. But be thinking about that, be thinking about themes that you want to talk about in a retreat fashion. Also, we talked about a date for us to walk through the old high school. Can you look at July the 18th? It's on a Monday.
Is the air gonna be on?
Yes, ma'am.
The air gonna be on?
Yeah.
Are you gonna walk along and fan me?
Yeah, we'll do it here.
Okay, so that's on the 18th. What time, 6?
Yeah.
6 o'clock. Be the cooler.
In the morning?
Be the cooler day.
In the morning. It'd be cool.
Yeah. Is that good for y'all?
Yep.
Cool. All right, July the 18th to 6. Okay.
And we also have our meeting in July about our ad valorem, our millage rate, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we'll set a day for that as well.
That's gonna be like a call meeting?
Yes, ma'am, toward the end of
Before
July.
the commissioners
Yes,
meeting?
ma'am. gonna be busy.
I wonder if they're gonna move the commissioners' meeting from July 5th.
I imagine they'll have to have another one.
Okay, we'll have to coincide
I'll
that
get
with
with you,
the,
yes, sir.
yeah. Okay.
And at the time we do the tax millage, I'll have the stuff ready probably for the executive board to show y'all to submit.
Okay. Okay. All right, we do have a couple items for executive session, so we'll wait on the personnel items before that, till after that. So, I'll make a motion after a brief recess, we go into executive session for discussion of personnel and property items.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. That shows unanimous. Right hand. No, left hand. All right, we'll stand in recess just a minute.
So hot here, but you live in that, y'all.